new mic. I'll do that soon. Not the new mic. New camera. Need to switch over to the new camera. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ned Bellavance, Ned1313 on Twitter, and welcome to the Daily Check-In for Friday, June 12th, 2020. Yeah, Friday. And if you caught my little cast yesterday, you'll know that Friday is now Funky Friday. I'm not sure what makes today funky. I got a good shirt on. I've got El Guapo's Pinata Emporium on, so that's a little funky. And I'm gonna have tacos for lunch, so also a little funk, little good stuff there. Today's topic is IBM Cloud Down. It's what tickled my fancy today, and I'm not, saying that to poop on IBM Cloud, but it was something else that I was writing an article on, and I went down this train of thought, and I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to share it with all of you. Before we do that, a couple quick housekeeping items. The podcast is doing well. I'm getting a lot of listens on there. So apparently some people are like, just need your voice, not your face. And I am fine with that. Totally agree. So if you are interested in just an audio only version, head on over to anchor.fm. You can find it on there. It's the Daily Check-In, or just look in your podcast a catcher of choice. It should be there as well. The other housekeeping item is just that, like I mentioned yesterday, I'm going to be moving to a format for my daily check-ins that's going to follow a different thing for each day. So Mondays is going to be professional development. Tuesdays is Terraform. Wednesdays, I think I said something yesterday, but I'm still working on it. Thursdays is going to be At the Edge, and Fridays is going to be Funky Fridays. So it could be anything, not necessarily technical, hopefully just fun. And I'm always open to suggestions. So if you have a suggestion for a topic, let me know and I will slot it in for sure. With that, let's check in. How you doing? How are things going? Did you made it through the week okay? I hope you did. It's been a rough one. Got a little interesting around here. Things got real hot outside, which meant kids inside more, which makes it more interesting to try to get through the day and get all my work done when I can't be like, go outside, because it's 90 some degrees and I don't want them to get heat stroke. So that's been interesting, but the weekend is looking better and next week is looking a little cooler. So, thumbs up for that. Hopefully that pans out and I can get some work done. Also, school year's ending, so that'll free things up as well. So that's the exciting stuff in my world. I hope you're doing okay. Let's dive into the topic at hand, which is IBM Cloud Down. For those who might not be following the news, IBM does have a cloud. Wait, no, that's not kind. Everybody knows IBM has a cloud service, and it's actually a combination of services. They purchased a VMware hoster a while ago called SoftLayer, and SoftLayer's basic thing was, managed VMware, basically. That was the thing that they were known for, and that's why IBM bought them. And then I was on a few projects that involved SoftLayer post-acquisition. They didn't go that smooth because the IBM salespeople didn't understand the product that well, and so they oversold it. It's not that the product was bad, it was just that IBM was overselling what it could do. Now, hopefully they've, figured that out, but IBM basically has that cloud, and then they have sort of an IaaS type cloud, and then they've got their data services like Watson. IBM Cloud went down on June 9th, and it was down for 4 hours. And when I say down, I don't just mean like one region or one availability zone or anything like that. I mean the whole thing globally was just unavailable. Even the status page to tell you that things were down was down, which is ironic. And also, apparently no one learned anything from when the status page for S3 went down, when the East portion of S3 went down, because the status page was hosted on S3. I think AWS fixed that, but apparently IBM didn't get the memo, or they just never thought that their entire global cloud would go down at once, which understandable, right? You'd think that wouldn't happen. Now, they haven't released an official post-mortem on what happened. They made an elusive statement basically saying that third-party networking had impacted their availability, which is kind of like, it sounds like someone injected some routes or did something funky with BGP, and either inbound traffic to IBM Cloud was getting black holed somewhere else, or outbound traffic was getting black holed, or something along those lines. We won't know until the postmortem comes out, and they probably should have been protected against that in the first place, but mistakes do happen. Unfortunately, it sucks when they happen on this kind of scale. I can poke fun at IBM, but I can't poke fun at those poor engineers that probably had to work double overtime to get things fixed and then get themselves chewed out the next day because they set something up slightly wrong or just missed a configuration. Networking's hard, and it's always the network, so I get it. We'll move on from that. But this is not the first time that the public cloud has had a major outage. I mean, I just alluded to the one where S3 on the East Coast was completely down. That was bad. There have been multiple outages when it comes to AWS, when it comes to Azure. Google had a big networking issue last year that made portions of their network unavailable. Thousand Eyes, which was just bought by Cisco, did a great analysis of that because they have really good network visibility. And I think they're going to do something about the IBM thing too, because again, if it's a networking issue, Thousand Eyes has really good networking visibility, so they can kind of tell you. Now, you might be wondering, if I'm not here to harp on IBM, and I'm not, why am I bringing this up? What's important about this outage? And I think it harkens back to the question, what is the answer if you're a business who's relying on the cloud to do business, to offer services to customers? What is the impact to you when an entire cloud goes down globally, or even when a portion of the cloud goes down? And how should you design around that? And this outage has not changed my mind about my answer for that. People talk about multi-cloud, and that's a pretty large conversation. But usually when they're talking about multi-cloud, they're talking about running some applications in one cloud and some applications in another, and picking the cloud that's best suited to that application. And that makes sense. And if you're a large enough organization that you can handle managing multiple clouds, I say go down that route, use the best service for whatever your application is. But there's another version of multi-cloud where you're stretching your same application across multiple clouds for this level of resiliency, which is a highly complicated affair. It's hard enough to do multi-region within a single cloud provider, but then doing multi-provider across multiple regions, that just makes it, it's rough. So that is generally not the answer. And the only time it is the answer is if you would lose a sufficient amount of revenue in one of these outages that you would either go under or lose customer confidence or just lose enough money that it would justify adding that additional complexity into your application and your cloud deployment to do multi-cloud of your application. You could have it potentially as a disaster recovery rather than running both actively, but that still means you have to have the same application deployed in more than one cloud and have the data replicated between the clouds and have the wherewithal and management to do that. And that's a pretty difficult thing to do. Another option is hybrid cloud. There's a pretty good chance you still have some of your own data centers, and those data centers are running active applications, and you might be using the cloud for specific applications or for bursting. You could put a copy of your application on premises in a shrunk down version in an environment you already know how to manage and operate, and now you've protected yourself against that global cloud outage. So that's another potential approach. But I think what it really comes down to is business continuity and disaster recovery planning. When you're doing that level of planning, you take a look at each application, you look at the dependencies of an application, and you also determine what is the recovery time objective for that application. How quickly does it need to be up in the event of an outage? You could have a recovery time objective of 0. That application absolutely cannot go down. And for critical systems that people's lives are on the line for, say something like a 911 call-in board or something along those lines, where it can't have that kind of downtime, then the RTO's zero, and you need to plan for any potential type of outage, including a global outage of your cloud provider. But if you look at it and say we can sustain 4 hours of downtime, as far as I know, no public cloud provider has had really over 4 hours of sustained downtime for a service. There's been some patchy stuff here, but generally speaking, I don't think anything's gone well over 4 hours. So with that in mind, if you look and say our recovery time objective is 4 hours for this application, or 6 hours, let's say, we can deal with that, then you don't need to go multi-cloud. And so if you start seeing a whole stream of articles that are, clamoring that you need to go multi-cloud and pointing at the IBM outage, whatever the latest outage is, as being the reason you need to go multi-cloud, don't jump at that. Do your business continuity planning, do your disaster recovery planning, assess what kind of downtime you can actually absorb for your application, and bake that into the assumptions when you're choosing your deployment model. That makes a lot more sense than going, we're going all in a multi-cloud and getting everybody trained up on Azure and AWS and then managing the application in both clouds for the next 5 to 10 years. That would be pretty rough. So those are my thoughts on the IBM outage in general, specifically, and multi-cloud as a solution in general. I'd like to hear your thoughts. So, leave something in the comments, hit me up on Twitter, Ned1313, or ping me on LinkedIn. Regardless, that does it for me for the week. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will be back on Monday. Take care now.